So my first takeaway on the Grizzlies is, generally speaking, if a 2 seed, the Grizzlies, faces a 7 seed, the Lakers, and the series starts in the 2 seed's home, as it should, right? You would take the 2 seed to win the series. But I took the Lakers to win this series because I think there's a lot of fool's gold with Memphis. And I like Ja Morant, but I consider him to be much like Derrick Rose, and I've said this for years. I don't think those kind of players can lead you to championships. This is overwhelmingly, once the playoffs start, a wing big league. Refs swallow their whistles, and the physical teams win. I mean, how effective was Anthony Davis today? How effective the Knicks rebounding over the Cavs? You see how effective a Robert Williams, a marginally talented player, but great defensively, how he can disrupt Atlanta's offense. Wings and bigs. You say, well, what about Steph Curry? The best 2 Warriors teams had Kevin Durant on them. And Steph Curry realized that. And so Ja Morant, like Derrick Rose, is spectacular and dynamic. Not an elite defender or rebounder. He's not going to be a rim protector. And he's still not a great shooter. He's just explosive like Derrick Rose was. And so I like the Lakers in this series. And I don't want to hear that the injury to Ja Morant was the difference. The Lakers had their best third quarter, perhaps the best quarter they've played against a good team on the road all season. They scored 69 points in the second half, and Ja Morant played 90% of it. He couldn't stop Rui, Reeves, AD, or LeBron. So I don't want to hear that's the difference. The Lakers had their best quarter. Ja Morant was on the floor. He'll return in this series. We're not sure about Game 2. Ja Morant has said, his availability could be in peril for Game 2. I can like Steve Nash as a player, but those Phoenix teams got pushed around in the playoffs. I can like Derrick Rose. I can like Ja Morant. It's different. And so I thought the Lakers' physicality would be the difference in this series with Clark and Steven Adams out, and it was. They mostly controlled the interior, big rebounding advantage, 11 blocks for the Lakers and 2 for Memphis. And that's the series. So you're not going to get another game like that from Rui. And Reeves was red hot. But I don't want to hear any excuses here. There's a reason that most people, not just me, took the Lakers in this series, is that Memphis was virtually unbeatable at home. Now everybody's equally rested. Rim protection defense means more in the playoffs. You see who the better team is. If Ja Morant can't play in Game 2 of the series, I think Memphis will be very competitive because I don't think Rui and Reeves will probably play that well. But I've thought there's a lot of fool's gold here on Memphis. I've said the same with Denver. Is like, I like Denver, but efficiency, which is Jokic's game, you got to give me more than that. I'm going to need some 35-point games. I don't trust, some of the guys on that Denver team who have never delivered in the postseason. So we'll see. But I thought, if you're a Laker fan, LeBron had 21 points. I mean, LeBron had a couple of big shots, a big 3, but he had costly turnovers. I didn't think LeBron played great. I didn't think the Lakers played that effectively in the first half. They couldn't shoot. So you got to feel good if you're the Lakers. They completely, utterly controlled the second half, outscoring Memphis 69-47, 11 blocks to 2 for the Lakers. They were the better basketball team. Doesn't mean they were in the regular season. But we've said this before. Postseason, refs swallow whistles. They're going to let you bang around more. And the dynamic, wildly vertical, show-stopping point guards, Westbrook, Walls, Derrick Rose, Ja Morant, Steve Nash wasn't highly vertical, but, a 2-time MVP, wildly effective. They don't have the impact in the postseason. So, you're a Laker fan, you have to feel good. Remember, the Lakers are 2 different teams. There's the pre-trade deadline deal with Westbrook, and there's this team. And this team has more shooters, has more wings, is younger, more athletic. So you have to look at the Lakers. It's like in the NFL where sometimes you have a team, the Patriot teams, the great ones were usually post-Thanksgiving on was a different Patriot team than September, October. This is a different Laker team right now. Now, I think if this series goes 6 or 7, maybe Ja's out for a couple of games and it's a quick series. That benefits the Lakers greatly. LeBron, you'd like to play him 32 minutes. You probably have to play him 36 minutes in the postseason, although Reeves certainly can control the offense when he's out. But the quicker this series goes, this is not a young team, the better it is for the Lakers in the next round. All right, some thoughts on a series that I thought Cleveland had too many shot makers for the New York Knicks, and I also thought Julius Randle could miss the first 2 games of the series. That's what was reported about 2 weeks ago. Julius Randle played. So one of the things that jumped out is not Jalen Brunson's play. He's been terrific all year. Okay, Jalen Brunson is a really, really good player. Your classic Villanova second round in big national championship level games, can defend a little, though he's small, but he's a great leader. He's just your classic point guard that can score, can distribute, excellent leadership skills, sets his guys up, and that didn't surprise me. What does, because I don't necessarily think losing game 1's the end of the series. It's not for the Warriors. But I do think there was something that was really noticeable. The New York Knicks were the second best rebounding team in the league during the regular season. I think they were tied for second best rebounding team. Cleveland was middle of the pack. How many times when Cleveland was inching back in that game did the Knicks get a second, third, and occasionally fourth look at the basket? New York, I felt like, got every big rebound in the second half. And that's a problem. Evan Mobley's excellent. He's still young. He's still ascending. But if New York, that's Tom Thibodeau's classic team, play defense, slow it down a little bit, crash the boards, get some freebies underneath, limit the Cavs to one shot. So I still like Cleveland in the series. But if that is a pattern, and remember, game 1, the best coaches are in the playoffs, they make adjustments, right? They're going to make adjustments in Cleveland. But you can rebound your way to a series win if you limit their second shots and you get yours second and third shots frequently. So, Jalen Brunson's been good all year. The Knicks have some interesting depth. They can melt. Any Knick fan will tell you they're a team that can lose leads and melt. But I thought that rebounding edge in the second half, it was noticeable. It was stark. They were controlling the glass every time they needed a rebound. So we have a real series between the Knicks and the Cavs. That's fun. Thoughts on the Warriors? I had predicted last week on Fox Sports 1 and Premier Radio that I thought Sacramento would win game 1 and I would take the better coach. Yes, Steve Kerr, 4 titles, the better coach. The better roster. Yes, now that Wiggins and Gary Payton are back, it's the better, deeper roster and the more experienced Warriors to win in 6. I thought it was going to be a hornet's nest in game 1. But something that really jumped out to me is that everybody likes to brag how much basketball they know on the internet. If you think Jordan Poole's a great player, you don't know basketball. When you watch him on the floor, he is so bad defensively. In the second half, I thought he cost him the game. And I think it's on a pretty regular basis, Steve Kerr and Draymond Green call him out. And, Draymond Green on the volume on his podcast. You can't give Malik Monk 30-plus points. It's okay. De'Aaron Fox is going to get his. Steph Curry's going to get his, right? Jimmy Butler's going to get his in the playoffs. Donovan Mitchell's going to get his. Anthony Davis is going to get his. You can't let role players have huge, huge games. And so I think Jordan Poole, and I've said this multiple times, it's a problem. I think they want to move him. Somebody will overpay for him. Somebody will lock him into a deal. But that series came down to Jordan Poole on the floor late in the game and just surrendering too many easy buckets and momentum for the Kings. Listen, Sacramento is certainly capable of winning this series. It's going to be really hard for Golden State to win on the road. But I think everybody noticed with Wiggins now available, that gives them 2 wings, Wiggins and Kuminga. They've only really had Kuminga for a while now. Dante DiVincenzo, Gary Payton, although he's banged up, They got plenty of depth now. They're fine. It's a really nice 8-man rotation if Peyton is okay. He got banged up. So, but one of the only things that really surprised me in that game is that Andrew Wiggins was that effective. Obviously, he missed, most past the trade deadline. I thought he was really effective. But again, he's a super high IQ player that's been around. That's why he fits so easily, is that, Golden State asks a lot of its players on both ends of the floor. It's a catch and react offense. It's, they're going to make switches on defense. You have got to be paying attention. Jordan Poole doesn't. Andrew Wiggins does. And that's why he was so effective. I think the Warriors are going to be fine. But I had said last week, the words I used, it's going to be a feisty series. If you can give Wiggins and Gary Payton real minutes, I think the Warriors will win. Their experience and their roster. I think what they're going to do in the next game in the series is they're going to be much more physical. Just too many easy buckets for the Kings. So I think the Warriors are going to be physical, and I think officials will play a part in this series. The dynasty gets the whistle. I'll have more to say on the Suns and Clippers later this week. Really fun weekend. It is so interesting to watch playoff basketball. I know a lot of people say the NBA is unwatchable. It can be in the regular season, unless you have a favorite team or a favorite rivalry. But playoff basketball, it is a completely different sport. So much fun.